Somebody said you were... Most of the boys don't like you? Did you say?
Well,
why not?
I'm too short.
This is Jodie Foster at 15.
You're good enough as it is.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And this is her back with Johnny 11 years later. A lot happened in between. She left Hollywood for Yale, was dragged into a national nightmare she had nothing to do with, and came back to win an Oscar. But the part that still feels strange is what Johnny noticed before almost anyone else did, the very first night she sat down. By March 1978, Jodie Foster was 15, and she'd been working since before she could read. In fact, most people had already seen her years earlier. They just didn't know it.
What was your first role? Somebody told me you did. There was a famous ad for...
Oh, yeah.
Was that was you?
Coppertone.
For Coppertone. Remember the little child
dog
with a little doggie? Was pulling her drawers?
Don't be a pale-face. Use Coppertone.
That was me.
That was you?
Yeah.
Well...
She was 3 years old in that ad. Her mother, Brandy, got her started young, and years later, Jodie said her mother kept asking whether she really wanted to keep going. The answer kept being yes. Then Johnny started reading her credits, and it went on and on.
The unusual thing about the picture she has played roles that normally you would not associate with young girls. She was a prostitute, a 13-year-old prostitute and taxi driver. She played a murderess in The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane. She was a gun moll in Bugsy Malone, a wine-drinking tomboy, and Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore.
Johnny was curious how she felt about watching her own work.
So some people don't like to see their finished product, believe it or not. I don't know why. I think so, too.
I've seen Taxi Driver 11 times.
Yeah, well, that's honest, but I've had...
That was the resume. Behind all those credits were tutors, movie sets, and schoolwork done between takes. Most hosts would have kept it light with a teenager. Johnny didn't. And when he complimented her, he made a point of saying he meant it.
Let me say, first of all, and I mean this, because I don't like just flattery, but you are an extremely good actress.
That's very nice of you.
No, really, you are so believable in everything that I've seen you do.
Then Johnny brought up her childhood, or the childhood most people assumed she'd lost.
It's not normal because you don't go through the problems of, oh, God, I've got a pimple, none of the boys like me. You missed all the bad parts of it, I think.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From there, he moved to something more personal, the boys at school, and why he thought they kept their distance.
Somebody said you were... Most of the boys don't like you? Did you say?
Well,
why not?
I'm too short.
No, I don't think it's that. You know what I think it probably might be?
What is it?
They're somewhat in awe of you.
You think so?
Certainly. I mean, you've been in major pictures. You are a very accomplished actress. You've accomplished a lot for your age. They probably are a little bit awkward around you more than not liking you. You ever think?
Jodie Foster didn't quite believe Johnny that time. She only smiled and brushed it off. 5 years later, she'd be back in that chair, but by then, her name had been pulled into a national story she had nothing to do with. When Jodie came back in 1983, she was 20, 3 years into Yale, and this time, school wasn't small talk.
You know the last time you were on this show?
I was little, I think.
You were 14 years old,
Okay.
I believe, and now was I right, third year?
Yeah, now I'm 20.
20, and third year at Yale.
Yeah,
I
junior.
think that's great.
Yeah, I do too.
You're serious about your school, aren't you?
Very much.
Before Yale, Jodie had already learned a lot, just not in classrooms.
Well, I remember falling into a river once in Sacramento. I remember a lot of things. You know, I was bitten by a lion once. I worked with camels and pigs, and I remember everybody always calling me the kid. I mean, I never had a name.
So Yale wasn't a detour. It was the one place where she could be a student first. She had told interviewers for years she always knew she would go and that it was never really a question. So Johnny asked what she was studying. It wasn't exactly an easy schedule.
What kind of literature are you taking? American English literature or what?
No. Well, right now I started out with classics, and then I went to modernism, and then I went to women's fiction, and now it's black women's fiction, and then it's Afro-American oral narrative. So it shifts every day, basically.
Yeah.
After a lifetime of being cast, lit, and directed, here was something no one had assigned her. For once, nobody was telling her what to be. she was choosing. And when Johnny asked whether she'd missed out on a normal childhood, she said something she'd said to him once before, 5 years earlier, in almost the same words.
To you, it was normal because you were
I missed
always
all
in
the
it.
bad parts of childhood. You know, I missed waking up and saying, oh, this boy doesn't like me, or oh, I have acne and everyone hates me.
It's not normal because you don't go through the problems of, oh, God, I've got a pimple, none of the boys like me. You miss all the bad parts of it, I think.
It was almost word for word, but between those two visits, something had happened that had nothing to do with acting. In 1981, John Hinckley Jr. tried to assassinate President Ronald Reagan. Investigators soon found that Hinckley had become obsessed with Jodie Foster after seeing the movie Taxi Driver and believed the attack might somehow make her notice him. Jodie was an 18-year-old freshman at Yale. She had never met him. Back on Johnny's couch in 1983, it was still the thing no one quite knew how to bring up. Watch how carefully he does.
I know you probably don't really want to get into this, but it's almost hard to avoid.
Okay.
No, I don't mean it, because people, it obviously had to be a very traumatic thing for you, this John Hinckley obsession with you. And you had you were able to get through that all right and stay on a fairly normal level? How did you handle that?
Well, that's a big question. I mean, mostly I was at school, and the best place in the world for me to be would have been at Yale, where everybody was incredibly protective,
Yeah.
certainly. And it's been a while now. The best thing we can say about it is that it's over, and also.
Jodie had already written about it herself in an Esquire essay called Why Me? After that, she tried to leave it there. From there, Johnny moved back to safer ground, and when he asked who she still turned to for advice, Jodie didn't hesitate.
Well, I listen to myself. Don't we all?
Yeah.
But I do listen to my mother,
Yeah.
and who tells me everything from, whatever there is. And we get into big fights, and, we make up, and we cry, and we do all that, but we're still best friends.
That's great.
6 years later, Jodie would win an Academy Award, and a week after that, she'd walk back into Johnny's studio for the last time. By April 1989, Jodie didn't have to explain why she belonged in the room. A week earlier, she'd won the Academy Award for Best Actress for the film The Accused. This time, Johnny skipped the introductions. What he wanted to talk about was how far back the two of them went.
You were on the show. When was the last time you were on the show? When we sat together?
I can't remember. I've been on here a few times. I think it was for Hotel New Hampshire, maybe.
Yeah,
Years ago.
and then I think in the early years was when Taxi Driver you were
Yeah.
here.
For all that history, something funny happened before the show. Even with an Oscar in hand, Jodie was still a little starstruck by Johnny.
I was very excited to come here tonight. I went in initially and I said, well, can I get a picture with Johnny? They said no.
What are you talking about? Who said that?
They said no, and then I said, well, do you think, like, maybe I could get a seat up there? They said no.
Back in 1983, Johnny had asked if she'd ever taken an acting lesson. She said no. Now, an Oscar later, here it came again.
Now that you've won the Academy Award, I don't think you should go back to acting class at all. No,
You don't think so?
I don't think so. No. You're good enough as it is.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Then Johnny did what he'd done since she was 15. He turned to the camera and told America to go and watch her.
And go see this young lady. She gives a brilliant performance in Accused. Really.
Really?
Well worth seeing. Come back again, will you? Okay.
A few nights before she sat down with Johnny, she'd stood on another stage, accepting the Oscar. And at the heart of that speech wasn't a director or a studio. It was her mother, Brandy.
This is such a big deal, and my life is so simple. There are very few things. There's love and work and family, and my mother, Brandy, who taught me that all of my finger paintings were Picasso's, and that I didn't have to be afraid.
Decades later, Jodie looked back on all of it and summed it up in one plain sentence.
I think I have managed to survive and survive intact. And that was no small feat. And look at me, I survived.
Brandy taught her not to be afraid. Years later, Jodie was still living that lesson. Johnny Carson met Jodie Foster when she was 15, a girl who thought the boys stayed away because she was too short. He saw something else, a young woman already carrying a grown-up life, and he treated her like she mattered. Johnny couldn't have known everything that was coming. Nobody could. But he knew she was worth taking seriously. The rest, she earned on her own.